I have a confession.
Oh my God, tell me.
I'm in the same room with Alex.
Are we breathing the same air?
We're breathing the same air. So if you just listen to this, you're not watching, we literally are in the same room together. In fact, we're touching bodies.
Oh my God. For the first time since March of 2020. Whoa, it's been a whole year.
It has been a whole year. It's been a whole year. And shout out to all the March babies, guys. We're coming up to 2 birthdays in lockdown.
We're in Pisces season. Second birthday's in lockdown.
Yeah, we're moving into Aries season as well. So I'm pretty psyched. I'm in the LA area, and Alex was like, let's do this together because I'm here. And I just got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Right on, guys. So let's get started.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sybil. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to make 6 figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
Oh my God, so much of it totally sucks. But let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, it sucks. Holy schmoly. Well, today's show, we're talking about courage versus confidence and how to be more courageous in your business.
Oh my gosh, guys. And I'm going to be straight with you. I had to pick up my thing, so...
It's right here, right there in front of you.
And what to do when it takes more than just balls to move forward.
Yes, more than just balls. That is so real. So we wanted to talk about, we talked about confidence last week, and then Sybil came today and was like, but courage. I was like, but we already talked about this. And she's like, no, because courage isn't the same. So how would you define courage versus confidence?
So it took a few conversations to get here, but I would say that confidence is when you have in yourself, you're like, I'm good at this. I just need to be able to go out and do that. I need permission to go out and do that for myself. Courage is when you know that you or maybe aren't good at that. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And you're going to go do that anyways.
Yeah. Which I really, really liked that distinction, right? That confidence is this thing that we do. It's more internal work. But courage is like getting out of your comfort zone. Actually, for the longest time, my desktop back saver screen thing, you can't see it, but it said choose courage, because I think that the decision to choose courage is a conscious choice that we get to decide to be courageous. That is different than having confidence, because I feel like there's a confidence that you can figure it out and that you can do that, but that's still not taking that courageous action.
Yeah, and I think that Alex and this is why one of the reasons that came up is because Alex and I are both at a point right now that we are having to dig deep to do some courageous things. And I think a lot of you out there, whether you realize it or not, you might be like, I'm lacking confidence, but actually what you're dealing with is courageous. You're dealing with the need to have courage, and somebody needs to come out and be like, hey, you have courage. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. That's not a confidence thing, guys. It's not confidence. You have confidence in what you do and who you are. What you are right now is maybe a little bit scared.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I know my shit is good. I know it works. And then when it comes to actually putting myself out there or, trying to take advantage of opportunities that might arise or making opportunities happen for me, that sometimes there's like that little let me just sit on it for 3 months before I actually do anything about it.
And I think that's beyond just a confidence. I think that, and they are sisters. I think they are sisters, because I think to have the courage to do something, sometimes you're like, well, once I've figured out what's going on, I now have to have the confidence to go do it. But it is that comfort zone thing where you're like, well, I don't feel right about this right now. And so one of the things that I know that Alex just worked on is she went out with her podcast and pitched it to go get sponsorship.
Yeah.
And how, like, we talked about this
For so long.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know, like, I'm not big enough. And
I had all the reasons.
yeah, like all the reasons. Like, she
Yeah.
just went down the list. And there was not one point inside of me that I was like, I mean, you can't get sponsorship. That's stupid. Of course you can get sponsorship. You're amazing. And your content is amazing. You've been doing it for, how long have you been doing this?
Over a year.
Yeah.
I think 2 years, because
Yeah.
I just did 100 episodes.
Yeah. So 2 years, and you have people who listen, and you're out there, and
I'm like trending in Sweden right now.
the Swedes love her.
Oh, wow.
The Swedes are super into her. So, you know, what does it take to have the courage to actually go out and pitch that to somebody? It's not really the confidence, because she's like, I am amazing. I know I'm amazing. Well, they know I'm amazing.
Yeah.
And that is the courage to go out and say, I know I'm amazing. Can you see that I'm amazing?
Yeah.
And that is a courage thing.
And I feel like courage is developed not by taking these huge leaps and bounds, but by stepping outside of that comfort zone just a little bit.
Yeah.
So for this sponsorship, you know, I pitched somebody else and they came back with an offer that was just like, this is not going to happen. No. And so I think, you know, the trust in yourself that you can do it, because you already know that you're a badass. Like, we already know this.
Yes.
This is known things. And then the courage is like, okay, that person said no. That doesn't mean that, like, I'm trash. It just means that, like, that situation wasn't the right fit. So let me try again. Right. And I really, truly feel like courage is developed. And, you know, one of the things I said to you was like, oh, just fuck it. Just do it. Like, that's my mantra. That's what I do. I didn't start there.
No, and you didn't.
Stretch.
And you didn't say. So when you first was like, I'm thinking about pitching this podcast to this person, and you're like, oh fuck it, I'm just going to do it, right? How long did it take you to finally do that? It was like 3 months, I think.
I mean, it was a long time. And I think I also, like, I tested it on people who I didn't care about first.
Because that's just also smart.
Yeah.
So I like to think about these things. I know we don't interview that much anymore, especially as, like, spa people. Like, we don't interview, and I don't think you interview that much anymore, right? I had an interview for something recently, and I was like, application? Resume?
Yeah, what?
What? I don't even know what to put on here. I've worked for myself for 15 years. I'm going to give myself a great recommendation.
Yeah, I know.
I'm amazing. But it's the same thing as when you used to go, before you, like, you know, went to the job that you really wanted to, you'd go to interview at jobs that you never wanted.
It's practice.
Right, because you're like, I don't want this job. So if I'm going to mess up in an interview, I'm going to go mess up at that interview.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You went and pitched people that you're like, I'm going to go pitch this person. Then if they say yes, you're like, okay, then it must be hitting. If they say no, you're like, okay, thanks. I should definitely work on this.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't lowball, but I kind of lowballed because I was like, I want to prove myself. I know that I can, but I want to prove it to them. So let me make an offer, right, that's super great for them, knowing full well that, like, it doesn't end here.
Right.
And I think that even, you know, asking for more and raising your prices, changing your menu, having the courage to go online and try stuff, you just have to, like, do just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I always, like, as we were talking about this, I was thinking of, you know, how do I keep improving? Like, what am I thinking about to do that? It's almost like 1% better every single time.
Yeah.
Right. And that's totally like personal development, self-development, growth, whatever. I don't need to be 1,000% better the next time out. I don't need to get a $10 trillion or $76 million sponsorship. I mean, that would be great. I don't need that this next bout. I just need that one step out of my comfort zone to have somebody else pay me to do what I already like to do.
Right. And that one step outside your comfort zone makes the next step that much simpler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like totally courage and confidence go together, because now I'm like, cool, I know that this works. I know that I can do it. So let me ask again and let me try to hit the ball even further out of the park.
Right. And so, guys, you all know, okay, so I'm going to be real, guys. This is what the show's about. This is what Skinfessional is all about, is real. I'm in a position right now where I got offered to come into work at, like, sublet somebody's space for, you know, pretty much any time I want. But I'm like, I'm going to do 2 days a month. And I know that I can come in and make a ton of money with my clientele, because I got a ton of clients and they're like, I want to see you. Yay. But I went to see the space and I was like, oh, this is not what I'm used to. It's really small. It's like I've always been like in a very small independent studio of my own. This is like one of the Salon Republics where it's like there's a lot of walk through traffic and the room's really small and it's a different vibe than I'm used to. And the bed's not my bed, and I have a very fancy bed, and this is not a fancy bed. And I mean,
I miss that bed.
Yeah, that bed like does things. And one of the things that I do is I relax people. I've trademarked the nap time facial. People fall asleep on my bed. It gets dark in the room. They fall asleep. I leave them and they sleep for 20 minutes. Like, it's the whole thing that I do. And I charge a lot of money for this stuff. So my goal was like, I'm going to charge a lot of money. I'm just going to have like 4 facials. It's going to be great. And I walked into the space and I'm like, this space is not my vibe. This bed is not my thing. And can I charge the amount of money that I'm asking to charge? I don't know. I feel super uncomfortable here. I feel so awkward. And I literally like closed up like a little turtle and was like, I just shouldn't do this. I just shouldn't do it. But I asked my gut, and my gut's like, Sybil, don't be a little bitch. So I went to my business bestie and I was like, Alex, like, I feel scared. I am not in control of all of this process. So what am I missing? Why am I scared? And that is something that sometimes you have to do. You have to go to your person. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things when you're outside your comfort zone, you are not alone. Whereas confidence, a lot of it comes from yourself. Like, you do have hype people where they're like, you're the best, you're doing great. But a lot of it's like lip service, right? Yeah. Like, that's their job. Like, they can't make you feel better but you either have to know you're better or you're not with confidence, right? Yeah. They're just like here to prop you up and be like, yeah, you are the best. Woo, reminding you you're the best. Mm-hmm. When you are afraid, you have somebody who's like, so why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? What is holding you back from, being successful? And that's what Alex worked on with me. She's like, okay, so let's talk through the problems and move you out of what you're afraid of, and we can move you through this comfort zone thing, and let's talk through it. And so, yeah.
Having the external processing for sure, and I think too, I just got this idea of the mm-hmm. difference between having knowing of something mm-hmm. and understanding something.
Yes, that's a good one, Alex.
Right. So knowing is that I understand what it is to have a broken arm. Right. The bones are broken. There's mm-hmm. going to be bruising. It's probably going to hurt a lot. You're going to need a cast. Like, cool. I don't actually know it firsthand because it's not something I've ever experienced. Right. And so I feel like, when it comes to confidence and courage, it's like when someone's telling you, you're like, okay, cool. Like, I can hear you, but if it's not in my bones.
Right. If I've experienced that inside I've not done it myself.
Absorbed it. Right. I haven't let it land, then it is. It's just lip service. And how do you let it land is all of those, putting one foot in front of the other mm-hmm. and taking action again and again and doing it scared, doing it smart, but still moving forward just, like 1% increment every single day.
At a time. And I'm going to repeat this a few times, I think, because I think it's a really valuable lesson. Mm-hmm. If you listen to our messaging all the time, we're like, do the thing, push play, go now, do it, do the thing, stop hesitating, right? Mm-hmm. This is the one time that I'm going to be like, take a beat. It's okay.
Yeah, right? To think it through.
Take it and talk to somebody about it mm-hmm. because generally what happens inside, if you have something that's like stopping you, like hard, you're like, oh, listen, there's something inside of you that's telling you no. It often could just be fear, but it might be something else. And so working through that is important because there have been times that I have been like, I'm just being a scaredy cat, I'm being a little bitch, I should just do this thing. And then I've done the thing, I'm like, wow, I was really stupid.
I really regret this choice.
This is a really bad choice.
Oh my God.
And if I had only listened to my intuition, I would have not done that.
Choices were made, and those choices were poor.
Yeah. And like, at the time I was just like, well, Sybil, it's because you were scared, and so you should have done it. But really what it was no, because honestly, if I had been really scared, I would have been like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, so many things. So many poor choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and when it comes to, we're talking about making decisions in your business, like, is this the right choice for me? I think that also the questions to ask, right? It's not just like, okay, am I scared? Yes or no? But how does this fit into the whole picture, right? To the whole funnel, if you want to talk about that. Am I actually helping my clients? And does this help them get to where they want to go in the way that I want to work with them? I had a consultation call with a potential client who, started the call saying like, I want to work with you weekly. And I was like, cool, I don't do that anymore. But here's a way that we can work together. And I think it's going to be way more beneficial for you. And that's just like what I do. Right. So I think being really clear as well as to, what your offer is, and even for your situation, right? What are you going to be doing with your clients in that room? There's an issue with the windows. Okay. But are we actually doing hair removal? Doesn't matter. No. Okay. Well, there's ways to work around. So I think that always pulling it back to, who do I serve and how do I serve them? And like, what is the mission, which we've talked about, of this company, of my business? And does this decision actually support that or take it away, or is it a distraction?
Right. And that is so important. And at the end of the day, is there something you can rethink? So the first thing that Alex and I talked about were as like problem solving for like courage. Can we look at what can be solved? So let's say you have a problem and you're working through it and you're like, I feel afraid to do this thing. Write down all the things that are worrying you. Right? First step in any time that you're afraid to do something, just write down. And it can be the smallest thing, guys. It can be the small. I'm afraid that people are going to tell me I'm stupid and I'm going to fail. Cool. Just stick it on the list.
Oh, but what's even good on that one too is like, it's not just people. There's usually like one person. Yeah. And then when you actually like, okay, but who is this person? And then you realize who that person is. And then you're like, I don't give two shits what this person thinks anyways. Right? Oh my God, that was such a help for me.
Or you actually do care. And at you have to work through that.
Yeah.
So you're like, I really care that my mom is going to not be happy with me, and that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
So
isn't it just like, I saw an Instagram post today, I shared on my stories of, it was like, is what you're holding space for, or what you're waiting for, taking
I love that one.
What was it? I want to get it right. Do you remember?
No, but I remember seeing it and being like, oh, that's so true. If I had only been able to tell my 24-year-old self that, I would save so much time in my life.
I must pull this up as I'm like accidentally posting a reel here. Jesus.
So one of the things I definitely want, wait, Alex looks that up.
I know.
No,
it's not showing that. I can't. We'll never know. We'll never know.
We'll have to find it and post on Skinfessional.
But okay, you go ahead.
So I really want to make sure that people are, when you're making the decision on, whether you're sitting around being like scared of that thing and, not moving forward with it because you're scared, or, you haven't found the courage to do it, is that you're thinking to yourself, how can I take care of this? How do I move through this? One, the first thing you do, you write down the list.
Yeah.
Right? Make the list and dive deep into the list. And a lot of times you need help diving into that list. It's often you're not by yourself when you're diving into lists. Okay. Second, I think, is you start kind of troubleshooting the list, and you kind of go item by item.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go item by item, and you can skip around if you want. If you're like, that one's too big right now, I'm just gonna move along. Don't have to go in order. Move around as you see fit.
Getting it out of your head though and onto paper to actually see the problem is super helpful.
Yeah, because I find that once you actually get it down, you're like, oh, actually, it's not as monumentous as it seemed, and there's actually only two big issues, and if I look at these issues, I can probably solve these problems, or I can just not care about them for a moment. Right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking too. It's all those little things. That's that 1% we're talking about, right? You do all of those little things on your list, and then you're like, oh my God, look at what we did. We just had the courage to step out of our comfort zone. And it's not like you realize okay, well, here I go. I'm stepping through the veil. That's not how it is,
Through the mist. Through this mist.
I'm so glad you thought. I was thinking of like the moment in Harry Potter when Sirius Black goes through the thing. It's so sad. But that's, it's not that. It's, all of these moments, and then you finally stop and you're like, oh shit, like we did that.
Yeah.
We did that. But you have to just do all of the little things to get there.
And I want to be honest, guys, you're still scared probably the entire time.
Yeah, you do it anyway.
So when you pushed send,
I was like, goodbye.
Right? But you were like, I bet you were like, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck. And then you're like, it's gone now, whatever, it's done.
And I didn't hear back from them.
And you're like, fuck.
And I was like, well, but you know what? Also, I put it out there without any strings attached. I think this is really important too, because I didn't want to ruin I already have a relationship with this company. I didn't want to, ruin the relationship if my feelings got hurt because it didn't work out. Right. So then the email comes back and I literally was like, I didn't read it for like a couple hours because I was like, oh no, they said no. Like, well, and then they said yes. And I was like, what? Wait, what? Like, I was so surprised. So I think too is like when we take courage, when we take these, courageous steps forward, you have to have the confidence to do it without strings attached, because it might not work out. Right. And if that step you're trying to take is too big, right? And you also are like, I don't think this is going to work. Guess what? It's probably not going to work. And when it crumbles, you are going to be, 6 steps back from where you started.
Right. And also on that is like, you can't take it personally.
No.
Which we've talked about many times. You can't take it personally when it doesn't. It doesn't stop you from doing it again in the future. It'll probably just make you like, it didn't work out that one time and I should never do it again. Please don't think that.
Oh my gosh.
Right. What you're going to think to yourself is, this one time didn't work, but because I did this once, I can do it again.
Yeah.
And the next time might succeed. Dude, if NASA thought that every time they went to the moon and it didn't work out, or like, dude, let's talk about trying to go to Mars.
So freaking cool.
How many times did Elon Musk's little space things explode?
Well, hold up. This is like, okay, Mars is NASA and the rovers, and Elon is also trying to go to Mars, but he's a totally different thing.
Right,
but yes,
but like,
you have to practice.
That's why I moved.
Yes.
That's why I moved out. I'm like,
yes.
forget it. Because like NASA, I grew up in NASA time, but you all maybe didn't. So that's why I was like, let's talk. We've all lived during Elon Musk times, right?
Oh, Elon.
So we've all sat around watching Elon Musk.
Elon's discount rockets.
We've all watched his stuff just blow up a million times. Whereas NASA, I've watched NASA a million times be like, so we tried to launch something and it just didn't go. Or we launched something and there was no picture.
Well, even just
millions of dollars.
The Mars rover, like when that thing landed, to think of how many practice runs and trial runs and things they had to test, like once it landed, like it had to land or the whole thing was a failure, right?
Right.
Like every element of it and every person working on that project had to show up and do it at 100% or it would have failed.
I know.
Like,
and we've had another episode, it was a while ago now, because guys, we've been doing this for over a year, about what it's like to be a pioneer. Because I'm a full believer that it is hard to be a first. It is hard to be a pioneer. And entrepreneurs are often pioneers, though there are less and less of us out there. But many of us are just redoing the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, that person looks awesome. I'm going to do that again. Nothing wrong with that, guys. But it is hard to be a pioneer. So if you were out there thinking, I want to change it up a little bit, I want to do something different, that takes courage.
Yeah.
It is hard to be a pioneer. And I look at people who have the courage to do these kinds of things, to take these leaps. And I'll be straight with you guys. I pioneer all the time. I'm a firm believer. I tell people all the time, like, I'm not going to fucking do it that way. I don't believe that. I'm not going to do it that way. Alex, listen to me.
I've heard that from you so many times.
I'm like, I don't believe that's the way to fucking do it. She's like, no. This is how everybody's doing it this way. And I'm like, yeah, I don't believe that.
I know. And then I came around. Do you remember?
Yeah. But it's okay. And guess what? Sometimes I'm wrong. It happens very rarely, but it does. But it takes courage to do that. Now, mind you guys, it also takes a lot of confidence sometimes to stand around and be like, I'm right when you are all wrong.
Yeah.
But also, when you're outside of the thing that you feel very confident in, it's really so much harder. It's so much harder. Yeah. So I recently started making facials. And when I first started making facials, I was like, these are so simple. I don't understand why this is hard for people. Making facials is super simple. And then I had people come in and be like, I mean, why would you make facials? Like, this is...
Really?
Yeah. They're like...
Like clients?
No, like other estheticians. They're like, but this is... other estheticians be like, why are you making facials? Like, this is how you do facials.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
this is legitimate.
I know. And so this is
face.
something I have not shared with anybody. This is the first time I've ever shared it with somebody. I had other estheticians ask me why I am making facials. And I'm like, well, because I just don't like the facials that are out there. I find them kind of boring and pretty stupid and basic.
Yeah. I mean, just slap a sheet mask on and call it a day.
And
I am like,
I know.
wow.
And I got a lot of flack from my peers.
Wow.
About the fact that I was doing something very different because they weren't all these like products layered on top of each other and like back to back. And I was like, I'm doing something different. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in scrubbing people's faces. I don't believe in using glycolics. And people are like, you're just stupid and wrong. And I'm like, and yet I'm going with that because this is what I believe in.
I wonder too how much of that was also the like threat of competition, in that if my client can do a facial at home, why would they need me?
Because they still want you to touch them.
I know.
But it is one of those things that I would sit around sometimes and I'd be like making up these facials and I'd be like, am I wrong? Am I like, no, I truly believe that I am correct, and it takes a certain kind of belief in yourself to do that. But there were times that there's sometimes where you have doubt and you have to sit around.
God.
Yeah, you have to sit around sometimes and just believe in yourself and know that when you first start out with something that you have to have the courage to kind of step forward and be like, I'm doing this thing. And honestly, I don't believe you should be like, I'm doing this thing. You should be like, I'm doing this thing.
Yeah. And that's even when people around you don't believe in it either.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. And I'm talking about like, you know, the people closest to you as well as just like, you know, colleagues or whatever. I think that there is a reason why you are here to do the work that you are here to do.
Yeah.
And it may not be in, you know, aesthetics or, you know, something else. Like there may be something else calling to you. And if there is, like, go chase that. Like, absolutely go after it. And I feel like, you know, I was listening to the founder of It Cosmetics on a podcast. She just came out with a book that I'm reading. And she left her job at as like a newscaster to start this makeup company in her living room.
She wears a lot of makeup. She's a newscaster, people.
Yeah,
shellac that on.
She also had rosacea, and so no other makeup was able to cover it. Yeah. And she told this story of how the like head makeup buyer at QVC literally told her like, nope, you're not a good fit. This isn't going to work for us. So like everybody around her multiple times was telling her, nope. And she's just like, no, I know that this works because the people are telling me that it works. Like, I know in my heart that this is what I was like put on this earth to do. And I'm going to keep moving forward and trust that the opportunities are going to, you know, happen for me. And of course it did. She was at like a beauty show, and then like one of the head QVC hosts came over. I was like, oh my God, I love it. I told them about the buyer. And then she was back in a meeting, and then like is one of the like highest brands. I think like they've sold more units than like anyone on QVC ever.
There you go. Good for her.
So all of that is to say that even when it feels like your idea is insane and crazy and shouldn't work, that it is courageous to continue to move forward with it. But I strongly believe that like if that is like if you can't get rid of it, there's a reason it's still there.
Right.
You know?
It's still percolating with you, then it's there. Like people will tell you you're crazy. So another one of those is if you all watch The Queen's Gambit. Yeah. Right?
So good.
That writer worked on that for 35 years. 35 years. And everybody's like, this is stupid. Nobody's going to ever want to hear this. Nobody's going to watch this. It's chess.
Ew.
What?
Yeah.
With women.
Right.
What?
That show is so good.
So sometimes you're ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Right? So giving up an idea is, you know, horrible and hard. But sometimes you have to realize you're just standing to the side, or you're just, once again, you're just taking a step back.
Putting a pin in it.
Right. And you're just kind of slowly working on it quietly.
Yeah.
You know, writers talk about that all the time. They're like, it wasn't time for it yet.
Yeah. I feel like
time.
That's also why journaling, writing stuff down. I keep looking at my board here with ideas. Like I keep things written down because I'm like, it might not be right now, but I know that it's going to come up later. And everything I'm learning in this journey will then help that as well. So I don't think that any learning is for granted or opportunities are for granted, or conversations are for granted. You know,
I definitely believe that as well. The final piece that I like to make sure that I talk about when I talk about courage, because guys, I believe that right now we need a lot of courage, and we have a lot of fear going around. And there's just fear in your life. There's fear, in your clients' lives. There's fear that's just kind of controlling us a bit. So if you just are like, I have a bunch of fear, right? And you could just have fear that you don't even understand, right? And it could just be holding you back, is to acknowledge that fear. Right? Just accept it and be like, I have fear. I think a lot of times we're like no fear. Yeah. Like, no fear. That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. The idea that we have no fear. No fear gets you dead.
Yeah.
No fear gets you like injured. Like fear is there for a reason. It's your back brain telling you something to pay attention to. So fear is there. It's a good thing, but acknowledging the fear, just being like, I have this fear, and I looked at it, and I talked to it, and I journaled about it
multiple times,
right? And maybe I don't understand that fear, because I think there's fear we don't even understand. Like I'm like, I don't know. I just feel really scared about something, and I feel worried, and
then I go to my journal and I say, why do I feel so afraid?
What's going on? That's when I talk to myself and I talk to my friends, and we all have our ways of dealing with it. But to ignore it, I think is one of the worst things we can do, because fear is like this weird insidious thing. Right? And it comes out in the worst ways. It makes you stressed. It makes you snap at people. It makes you angry. It stops you from sleeping.
Yeah.
It raises your cortisol.
Yeah. But I think Tim Ferriss talked about this one time. He's like, we're afraid of all of these things, but the only thing that we really have to be afraid of is like death. And some people might not even be afraid of death, but like, are you going to die from doing this thing or be like out of house or home?
Right.
And if the answer is, oh no, it's like, okay, well then like that fear is like acknowledge it, but it doesn't have to be in the driver's seat for what you're doing.
Right. But at the same time, guys, it's a real feeling. So I acknowledge.
Absolutely.
Because I one of the things like I find that so many people just don't acknowledge. There are two kind of people. People are like, I have a lot of fear, and it's like I'm trying not to let it control me, but like I have it. And then there are the people who are like, I just put it to the side and it's not there.
Yeah.
And then they're the journalers, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I think the courage, it's just, again, you got to keep moving forward, because every experience builds your confidence in yourself and your courage, so that next opportunity is not so scary.
And that's what it is, bring in that courage to find it, to pull it forward, to move outside that comfort zone, to be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to break through that veil.
And then you're like, hey, I'm over here, guys.
Right?
It's fine.
Yeah, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, we talk a lot about things that are hard. I want to talk about the easy things. Can we talk about easy things next time? I don't know what they are, but I believe our tagline is owning a business is hard.
I don't know which part.
I don't know if you listen to any other podcasts, but I don't know if they talk about the easy stuff. We don't hear. We talk about the hard stuff.
No, but also I think, before you came over too, I was helping a friend set up, this email thing, and I was like, okay, and then you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that, and for her, it's brand new, this new piece of software.
This piece of software will hobble you and hurt your mind.
I know. I've been using it for almost like 8 years, a long ass time.
Which is why we go to her.
Yeah, so it's not scary anymore, because also when I started with the basics, and then it got a little bit more complicated, and every time a little bit more complicated, to now I'm using features that Alex from 2 years ago would be like, what? Wow! So it's just, you just keep moving forward. I think the worst thing you could do is to allow fear to take total control and keep you in that analysis paralysis or complete fear of taking action, because then you're not getting anywhere. You're not going to figure out, is this the right choice for me? Is it a terrible choice? And then you're like, oh, choices were made. Oh, well.
Right.
We just got to keep moving and keep reflecting.
Reflecting is a good one. Reflecting is a good one. That's a good word for the day, guys. Reflecting. If I was people heard, I'm like, reflecting.
It makes me think of Mulan. Who is that girl I see? Sorry, there's a lot of child references today.
I don't actually know much about Mulan.
You never saw Mulan?
I watched it, but I don't remember.
Like the OG animation one?
I don't remember it much. I hate animation. Guys, I hate animation.
Let's get down to business. To defeat
2 thumbs down. So
the
bored.
Huns.
So bored.
Why Hi, Miss Send Me Daughters.
No, super.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, so boring.
So you can also be friends with people who have terrible.
You guys want to talk Kids in the Hall? I'm here for you.
I don't know what
Love
that is.
Canadian TV. So
Did you watch Degrassi, or is that before your time?
It's not before
Or not
my time.
before
It's
your
after
time.
my time. But no, I didn't watch any like kids stuff. Like I'm an adult, pretty much
You're like,
born and raised
I'm
an adult.
Well, about that. About that.
I'm an adult. I think that pretty much. Oh gosh, I feel like we talked about courage. I hope that this gives you courage. I hope that this gives you courage because I know for me that I've needed courage of late. I usually have a ton of courage and I have needed extra lately. It's been very hard. Guys, it has been hard. Extra hard lately. There's just a lot more weighting us down and with us. And as we go back to work, and if you've been working through this, you also bring on, like, your clients come in and you hear everything that's going on with that. And I think this is going to be going on for a little bit of time. So
It's just 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
nut up, guys. It's like you all need the courage, but good things happen from courage.
Yeah.
Good things happen. You get sponsored. Maybe you go back to work and, you make a bunch of money. I'll tell you.
Sponsorship dance.
I'll tell you all about it. I did based on our last spa menu. I created my new spa menu for my new space. 4 entire facials.
Brand new?
No, I have the nap time, which was existing. I had created one new facial though, guys. It's called the Taken facial.
Ooh. About what? Why?
Liam Neeson. He has a quote that's like,
His whole damn career is like, you stole my child. I will come get you.
no, it's where he's like, I have a special set of skills that I've acquired, that I've acquired through like education or something like that. And I'm like, yes, that is what I do.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. I'm like, so it's called the Taken. Also, we're in Hollywood, so like it made complete sense.
Very on brand. I just had another thought too before we finish up here. We've talked a lot about, about business and moving forward and doing all of that. There are times where you will need the courage to have conversations perhaps with those closest to you about boundaries. You may have to have the courage to decide to withhold some things from those closest to you because sharing is just too painful or too hard for you. So think, if you're like, okay, but I don't know, like I'm trying all the things, it's not working. There might be something on a personal level, right? Because you are not your business and you are a person with a living, breathing life. That there may be something else on a personal level that needs some courage to be addressed. Even if it's something for those of you at home with kids of like, hi, I need 30 minutes to myself.
Right, not hidden in the bathroom with wine.
No.
Not hidden in the bathroom. Like, just sit and on this couch while y'all go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I get to sit here. And on that, sometimes we need courage to tell our clients no.
Yeah.
We need the courage. We need the courage to dump clients who are not good for us.
Yeah.
Right? And this is the time. Now this is the time to be like, bye, see ya. And I know you don't feel it, but it is. Time to be like, hasta. Don't ever want to see you, manana. Bye. Setting those boundaries is good, and it does take courage for those things. Yeah, you're right.
We need a tall
That's why we keep
glass
Alex.
of courage.
Yeah, let's keep Alex because she reminds us that.
Well, even I remember too. I was like, this wasn't just email campaigns and automations that got me here. There was other.
Well, Alex, and speaking of that, so we're going to go one more story. So Alex just had a conversation with me about needing a little bit of courage to contact a client about giving her back money.
Oh my God. It was so weird, you guys.
And so things about so think about things that shouldn't make you scared and yet do.
Yeah.
Alex literally is returning money to a client. Who has ever been like scared of returning money?
Well, you know why? Let's be real here, okay? I'm working on it. To me, seeing that money in my bank account feels very comforting.
There you go.
And like giving it up is scary.
That's why the check is still sitting.
I need a stamp.
Here. Still sitting.
This is such bullshit. I
here.
can go get a stamp. I know.
Your bank probably just like ships the checks out if you ask them to.
Oh my God.
I know mine does.
Well, I wrote it because I wanted to put a little personal note in there.
Well, there you go. But
do you have a stamp?
I can look in my bag, probably not. But like talk about things like that.
Yeah.
You dig deep and discover what's going on.
Yeah.
look at what's happening.
I have money stories. Okay, I know. I'm working on it.
We all have money stories. Okay, we all have money stories.
We do. But
I have a dragon hoard. I've talked about it before. I keep a lockbox full of $12,000 in cash. My dragon hoard.
I gotta pull out Lindsay's book. Is back there, and we'll pull it out, read it again, do my homework, do my assignments in there. Because and I think too, this self-reflection I'm learning as I start to talk to other people of like all the stuff that we talk about and like personal development, all of that. It is scary to examine and like really dig deep into yourself. So maybe it's the courage to just like ask questions of like, why do I feel this way, and what do I need to move forward, and is that something of like a software, a tool, or just like telling your family like, leave me alone for 20 minutes so I can like write this email or reach out to that client or do whatever I need to do.
Yeah, guys, for serious, it's so intense. It's so intense. So much courage is needed. I'm so glad we wound up doing courage, because courage is very different than confidence. And, and I felt that because I have lots of confidence, but sometimes courage is harder to find.
Just push you out of the nest.
I know.
I promise I'm going to send that check, okay, you guys?
And when I come back next time, I'll have information on my new, maybe courageous step through the veil.
Yay! Can you call it that? Like the veil?
Yeah, courageous step through the veil, which I see Lord of the Rings through the veil.
No, Harry Potter.
But, I'm not a Harry Potter.
Sometimes I forget that, like...
different ages.
Yeah.
I'm like, I read Harry Potter, but I was like, whatever. I can't believe people are still talking about their Potter land.
My life was changed.
I know, whatever.
Changed.
I was like in college and out of college when Harry Potter
I was at Borders bookstore in a cape for some reason at midnight when the book came out.
I was like, I don't care.
And I read the whole book in the first weekend, and I was so mad that I was like, dang it, I finished it already. Or the time, the 7th book, the last one, I flipped it open and it
spoilers
right to the page of the biggest spoiler, and I was like, no!
Oh my god, spoilers!
I know.
And if you haven't read, I don't know why you deserve all the spoilers.
But it's really old. It's so old. You have no excuses.
Unless you're like very, very young and like you're like, what is even Harry Potter? And then go out.
No, stop listening to this right now and go listen to Harry Potter. We cannot. No.
You should go and don't read Lord of the Rings. Super boring.
Oh my god, I did not.
Yeah, no, you can watch them. They're fine to watch, but I don't know if they hold up as you've gotten older.
I remember watching those in high school.
I remember watching them in college.
This is how I feel about them. I'm like.
Yeah, see. That's what I see.
All right, so Through the Veil, your new spot with a new menu.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll see if I have the confidence to.
Maybe we should call it Red Carpet Ready, because it's like so cheesy.
That's what see, the thing that I don't like to do is everything that everybody else has, where they they have their signature facial, and everybody has a red carpet facial.
Right. And what about like Glow Bar or like Glow Worm?
Glow Bar is trademarked.
Oh, it is. What about like, I'm just looking here, I have space stuff. What do you call it? Like Apollo 14.
People are like, why am I getting to space?
I'm like, because you need like deep, intense moisturization and hydration to like withstand zero gravity.
You keep working. Tell you what, I'll make facials. You keep working on naming, and we'll see how that works out.
All right, sounds like a plan. So let us know what you think her new spot should be called, and also about your courageous actions that you are taking this week. And whenever you're listening to this, hit us up. We are on Instagram. The show is at Skinfessional. She is at Your Skin Fitness Expert, and I am at Holla for Mala. Or you can leave us a call, a voice message, a telephone communication, telephonic communication.
If I did this, do you know what this is?
It's a rotary phone.
That's right.
My dad had one in the garage, and I would like prank call people.
Right. It would take forever, but it's worth it.
Oh shoot, I misdialed. Wait, so what's that number?
818-473-5277. Wait. That's right. You can watch us too make fake rotary dial phone calls
here on YouTube. Yeah, you could watch the show. You could listen to the show. You could share this show. You could subscribe to the show. You could review this show.
Please review this show. We'd love to have reviews. That'd be magical. And maybe I can also, with Alex, be the best in Sweden.
I think we can.
I know.
We can do it.
I mean, Swedish people love to hear rotary phone dials.
I mean, we could be like the next David Hasselhoff and be like huge in Germany.
That's right. That's right. So guys, until next week,
keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.